So this might come as a surprise to you, but you don't need 5 to 10 years of single family house investing experience to get started with apartment buildings. In fact, you can get started without any experience in real estate or otherwise at all. But how do you do this? How do you get brokers to take you seriously? How do you take investors to take you seriously? And that's what I'm going to cover in this video right now. I'm going to give you my instant credibility script that rapidly commands the respect of any broker investor you talk to and unlocks literally access to off-market deals, which is the holy grail of finding deals in this kind of environment. So stick around to find out what that instant credibility script is. So when I got started with multifamily investing back in 2007, I would call up brokers, and this was in Texas at the time. That's where I was looking for deals. I would call up brokers and say, "Hey, Mr. Broker, I'm a real estate investor and I'm looking for apartment buildings to purchase. Are there any listings that you have that you can send over to me?" And they always told me the same thing. They said, "That's great, Michael. Send me your proof of funds and I'll send you what I have." And I was stumped because I didn't have any proof of funds. All my money was in the restaurants and they were losing money at the time. So I was stuck. I didn't know what to do. And it's basically the broker's polite way of saying, "Get lost. You're a newbie and you're wasting my time." I didn't discover until much later that I was making various different mistakes. And even when I mentioned to them I had done single family house investing, we had flipped 36 houses at the time, they would always say the same thing: "That's great, Michael, but how many multifamily deals have you done?" And I was really, really stuck. And I finally developed a script that basically works almost 100% of the time. Okay, it's my instant credibility script. And I want to share that with you. You guys ready to go? Let me know in the chat box right now if you're ready to go. All right, let's do it. Okay, so here's my script. If you're seeing this right now, you might want to take a snapshot of it with your phone or take a screenshot of it. So here's a script that I started to develop. I'm going to tell you exactly why it works, okay? So here it is. Here's a script. You call up the broker and say, "Hey, Mr. Broker, I work with a group of high net worth individuals, and I'd like to expand into the Atlanta market. We already have property management company XYZ on board and are continuing to build our team locally. And we're looking for deals in the $1 to $2.5 million range with at least an 8 cap, well, let's say a 6 cap in this environment. And we would consider light to medium renovations, but no repositions. Is there anything you have in your pipeline that you can send me over to review?" Okay, now what have you done here? Let's analyze this script a little bit. Number one, you're using insider words like cap rate and reposition, which is, and you wouldn't be using that if you didn't know what you're talking about. That means that you probably educated yourself. Maybe you took the ultimate guide to buying apartment building investing, or you're, sign up for mentoring, whatever. So you've educated yourself. That's number one. Number two, you address the money part because you're telling the broker that you're working with a group of high net worth individuals. Number three, you're addressing the experience part in several different ways. Number one is you're expanding. Now, whether you're expanding from 0 or 10 units, doesn't really matter. You're expanding. And number two, though, more importantly, you're talking about your team. Okay, you're bringing in your team, and you may be talking about property management company XYZ, which if you play your cards right, the brokers already knows. And so now they're saying, "Oh my gosh, I know property management company XYZ. That's great. They're great guys. They've done a bunch of deals together, whatever." And now they're talking about your team and not about you. Okay, this obviously implies that you follow our other rule, which is to build your team before you start calling brokers. Okay, so this is and then what happened is a very surprising thing. Once I started using this script, I was no longer asked for proof of funds. And in fact, it didn't just work for me. It worked for a bunch of other people. Like, for example, Jake Volan, 21-year-old Air Force cadet, no money, he's a student, right? No prior experience. He educated himself. In fact, he took our course, The Ultimate Guide to Buying Apartment Building, educated himself, and somehow, magically, he got a broker to take him seriously enough to be invited in the best and final on an $11 million deal in Kansas City. Okay, that's staggering, right? And just because he followed the script exactly. So you got to in order to use a script confidently, you have to educate yourself and you have to build your team. And once you have that, all right, no one's going to ask you for your lack of experience because of the words you use, the confidence you have, and the team that you've built on the backside. Okay, so that really is the secret to gaining instant credibility with brokers and how you can get started with apartment buildings without 5 to 10 years of single family hope investing. Super powerful. Hope for you guys you find that useful. Catch you next time. Hey, and before you go, make sure you subscribe to this channel because we're putting out videos every single weekend. You don't want to miss it. And also, you don't want to miss is Dealmaker Live right here. Okay, register right now. It's the biggest multifamily event of the year. And hey, check out this next video.